Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Breath of Fiction. As always, my name is Radicor, otherwise known as Philip Desserts, and today I am joined by.
DCC Rules, also known as Dan.
Get Snacked, also known as the #1 Gajima Bro.
And finally, Sparta 789789.
Otherwise known as.
Sparta.
I thought you're not keeping the Spanish name from the last times? No?
Oh, well, yeah. Also known as Segunda Compañía on the various Demon Slayer servers.
Okay, I was wondering if you. Go.
This is like when your friend makes their gamer tag in middle school and never changed it, and then you just tease them like, "Hey, I'm gonna invite my friend Edgelord 69XX." Let them live it down.
Oh man. So I can imagine how many times I've been like, "Hey, what's looking for this?" Is my friend like after 3 years, and then like they changed it. Like, what the hell? Like, why are you this name? Why are you that name? That kind of stuff.
But that was my brother.
Oof.
When we were teenagers, he changed his PSN name like every couple months. The one that always sticks with me was what was it? It was like Nasty Fleshlight or something.
Oh my
Oh no.
Oh my god.
And when I asked him why'd you spell flashlight wrong? Because I was like 12 or 13 at the time, and he explained it to me, and I'm like, I don't want to be known as that.
Oh god. Oh god. Well, you know what they say. Adult kids are getting older because they're getting more words and more adult experiences when they're younger. Thank you, internet, for doing that. But anyways,
thank you.
Yeah, but anyways,
Yep.
I knew like half of the worst things you can learn on the internet by the time I was 13.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I got parents.
Thank you, internet.
I mean, when you have kids who are 13 and younger playing M-rated video games that are first-person shooters, and no one's complaining, then there's something going on. My parents were not one of the
Thank you, internet, for showing me Sailor Moon porn when I was 9.
Oh my god.
Wait, what?
Me or DCC?
Snack. No, I heard DCC. I didn't hear Snack. So. Selective hearing. I was focusing on what DCC was saying. Sorry. What did you say?
Oh, me or DCC?
I just said you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying that thank you, internet, for showing me Sailor Moon porn when I was 9.
Oh.
That's great.
Bro.
Someone spelled Sailor Uranus wrong.
Oh, it was the cats.
Of course.
In cat form.
In cat form? Oh god.
So
yes.
Nope.
If you're gonna do that,
she put in Sailor Moon pussy by accident.
Oh god.
No.
Nice. But
I was looking for Sailor Moon fan art. And you know.
If you're gonna do that, at least make Luna and Artemis humans. If you're gonna do that.
Yeah. It's probably better for everyone.
Don't make your favorite fan art site Rule 34.
Yeah, there's canon human forms for you to use. The show gives you material. Use that.
Yeah, but yeah, so anyway, for those of you who enjoy our pre-discussion banter, that was this episode's version of it. But today we're going to be doing
I blame Callie.
Yeah, Callie's not here. We have to blame him like whenever he doesn't show up. But anyways, this week we're doing, at least this podcast, sorry, not this week. Well, technically yes, but you get the point. Anyway, for this episode, we're going to be doing a theme as opposed to a crossover, something to like what we did at Cyberpunk, and it's called the Ghost World. So the Ghost World AU. Now, for those of you who are wondering what this is, I'm sure those of you who are fans of KNY remember Sabito, Mokumo, and Kanai when she showed up in Shinobu's battle during the Infinity Warders arc. But those are ghosts.
Tanjiro, and what was her name?
Kie McQueen.
Oh yeah, we have the spirits talking to the passed out, to people when they're knocked out, just like or whatever during it. But the idea is that ghosts exist in KNY, but they're mostly just well, rather intangible. They can't really do anything in the world except maybe except Sabito for whatever reason. Although we can debate that as to why. But either way, is that they don't really play much a role, even though they're there. They just appear to be more supporting.
Sabito's ghost is just so badass. They just slaps Tanjiro. He's like Yoda in not the Force Awakens. The Last Jedi.
I
But
guess.
Sabito isn't a ghost. He's a full-on fucking poltergeist.
Which is a ghost.
Which is a
technically.
ghost, but like.
Okay, look, we'll get to that. But for those of you,
he's built different.
Okay, but yeah, for those of you who may have understood what we're going with here, we're gonna go with this particular theme is ghosts are more real, they're more consequential. So the whole idea of they're in the world that they can move things like poltergeist, as the Snack said for Sabito, the fact that they can haunt people and that they can come back and have a physical effect on the world. That's what we're gonna try to introduce here. And I feel like a better place to start is when we're in Japan, like one of the best places for horror in culturally in the modern era and in the past era. And yes, demons are based on the Oni, which are a type of yokai, but you also have a bunch of ghosts in Japanese culture, which I feel could make a comeback, even though obviously there are some demons based on it. So what do you all think of that? Yeah?
I feel like the scariest ghosts you get are on Tinder.
Okay.
Actually, I would.
Okay, well, why would you know that when you have a fiance?
I don't know that. I'm just making shit up. Also,
yeah, you were saying?
Like, I know it's like, what? 6 months away at this point, but you should post this episode on Halloween.
I suppose I should. Talking about ghosts. Yeah, I think we might save that, put this one in the...
With your editing, it might take that long.
Hey, man, if you want to edit, you can edit. But if you not want to, then leave it.
I know, I'm playing. I saw a dig and I went for it.
Yeah, well, I know how to counter that dig. I filled it in, so too bad. Anyways, so for those of you...
You're the best, bro.
Yeah, for those of you who aren't aware, Japan has a number of ghosts classified under the term yurei, and they appear in Japanese society for a number of reasons, including being wronged, coming back to extract vengeance. They're coming back they show up because they died in a particular way, and they're from a certain type of people, so to speak. Like in general, we know ghosts come back because they've been wronged, right? So that makes me wonder, why the hell haven't we seen a lot of ghost demon slayers other than the ones like where the mountain where Tanjiro was training with Urokodaki? Like, why can't they be around? Why can't they be there to hunt demons even though they're dead? Clearly, Sabito was strong enough to introduce an effect on Tanjiro. Remember?
Maybe it's Tanji-Phantom. Maybe clearing them all out.
We do see ghosts of Urokodaki's children show up afterwards. But like, I don't know, maybe Sabito's just like built different.
Yeah.
That's my only explanation.
My theory
is thinking about those abs.
My theory, of course, is that Sabito was like the last student Urokodaki had before Tanjiro. And like the fact he's the most recent one is the reason why he's so powerful as a ghost, I guess, maybe.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, looking at like the list of ghosts in Japanese culture I have here, Sabito is probably similar to what is called to an earthbound spirit known as Jibakure in this case. And these spirits are earthbound to a place or situation, although they're not supposed to necessarily fulfill an exact purpose. That sounds similar to what Sabito is, except his purpose is kind of just hanging around until someone beats the hand demon, right? But the thing is, if he could,
I believe there are a few conditions to really for ghost expression. If we see in KMY definitely a sense of an afterlife because we see a lot of characters go to it. So we have to assume that for a ghost to spawn, there either has to be a thin enough veil between this world and the afterlife, or that they simply never went to an afterlife, or even an in-between world. We don't really know if there is such a thing as purgatory or, like an undead world. Kind of on Earth that's not quite heaven or hell.
Mhm.
First
Okay.
condition could be, universal, like quantum physics, essentially, where certain locations maybe ghosts are more capable of spawning. The second is connections, which is a similar aspect to it. Um, in most regards, when we see ghosts, excluding Sabito and Makomo, they almost exclusively only appear to the people who they are very closely tied to, and specifically to communicate with them. Um, and the third major factor I feel that always affects ghosts is the person. And this is what I think really brings it home because Giyu is the water pillar, and he considered Sabito stronger than him. Sabito would have made an exceptional water pillar. He is someone who clearly has a strong personality, a strong soul, strong drive, and like Sparta mentioned, he was most likely the last student that Urokodaki sent out. So he still is very fresh in his mind. Based on their ages, I think it couldn't be more than 8 years ago. So I mean,
Let me think. Well, the thing is that Urokodaki and Sabito and Giyu trained together, and Giyu and Sabito were in the same selection. So that, and because Giyu was 13 when he went to the selection, that would mean, and he's 21 in canon, that would mean it has been about 8 years. 8 years
Yeah.
close to 8 or almost 9 years. We don't know.
So, if Sabito has a very strong spirit, he's been dead less than a decade. He's in a location that he has a strong connection to, and it's a mountain which you could argue might have a thinner spiritual veil, especially because you see all the other spirits who express themselves less. It just makes sense that he'd be able to physically manifest so strongly. And it also might also explain why Makomo couldn't manifest as strongly. She's been there longer and maybe had a weaker spirit.
Wait, this made me think, do we get any concrete evidence that Makomo is older than Sabito, or she went there before?
Probably before, because if any, because
We don't have concrete evidence, no.
actually, it could also. Well, I mean, in the way that I would suggest that it's probably before, but we do know is that Giyu, and Sabito probably didn't know Mokomo at all, just from the looks of it.
Yeah.
At least in
Yeah.
life, anyway. Like as a ghost, obviously Sabito and Mokomo know each other, but considering that the hand demon did mention Makomo first and then Sabito later, I would assume that maybe Makomo was
Okay, that's fair.
was probably first if he's just going by memory.
And also, it's also very likely that Orokodaki made Giyu his last student once he kind of understood what was going on. I know it's kind of suggested he didn't know what was going on, but Giyu definitely must have had some awareness to bring to Orokodaki that made Orokodaki hesitate, especially after losing a student as strong as Sabito. It definitely is most likely Sabito was his last student that he sent to die. Everyone was before him.
Yeah, I mean it could be, but I would think that
there is no concrete evidence, as Snek was asking, but the leading theory is that she was before, and most likely the most recent before.
Okay, so the probability and the clues point to before. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, but anyway, getting back to that, what I think we could do is, because obviously we have ghosts that come back if they're dead. Like there's a special ghost in Japanese society called Onryo, and they're people, vengeful ghosts that come back for a wrong done during their lifetime. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So does that not describe a lot of demon slayers who would have had reason to hate the demons who have been wronged by them?
Mm-hmm.
So why the hell aren't there? Or rather, what would you think would happen if ghosts were a thing in KNY, in that they formed a third faction, aka they could come back and exact vengeance or affect the world in whatever way they wanted. So they could go after the demons that killed them. Hell, they may not even go after the people in the Demon Slayer Corps because they have the misguided idea that they've died, and the people alive didn't, or the people alive may basically let them die. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think that would look like?
Well, firstly, I think there's two things we have to look at. One, the aforementioned aspects I brought up, and two, the what was the word you used? The Japanese spirit.
The type of
Trait.
spirit.
Yeah,
Okay.
because the way a person dies and who they are likely affects what kind of spirit they become, and how they're able to manifest is likely based on, as I mentioned, their connections, which could be to the people who killed them or the people they knew, and how strong their spirit is. So, someone like Kanai would most likely come back as a spirit and might be able to visit, Shinobu, Kanao, Aoi, Duma, etc. But she probably couldn't manifest as someone like Tanjiro, or at least not as strongly. And we also don't know if she manifested, how she would manifest in what form.
Well, at that point, I would say that in Japanese mythology, the type of ghost, the circumstances of death, the people in the context of interpersonal relationships do play a factor. However, it is also known that people who come back, or rather ghosts that do come back, are basically similar to demons in that they don't remember everything. Because, like, an Onryo is a vengeful ghost, but the thing is that vengeance consumes them more than it does, like, it ties them to the real world. So, it's not necessarily, it would depend on the type that comes back, yes, but it also opens the door as like, are you so lost in your vengeance that you're going to start acting out in ways that aren't necessarily related to people and places, so to speak? Like, we see this in Western mythology with ghosts, and like they haunt a place, or rather they follow a thing, but they don't care who they attack. You know what I mean?
Yes. In a way, if you will, they're similar to hollows.
What? They're similar to hollows and what?
From Bleach.
Okay, the middle part cut off for me, so I didn't hear it. But yeah,
Yeah.
that is possible. But I would say, like, okay, let's just assume that ghosts can come back, and like and most ghosts that would come back are either earthbound spirits like Jibakure or Onryo, which are vengeful ghosts. You know what I mean?
Yes. And I feel like another interesting place to consider would be Mount Natagumo.
Actually, hold on, one thought. There's also a special type of ghost for children, and they're called Zashiki Warashi. These ghosts.
Oh yes.
Yes.
They're so cute.
Yeah, they're ghosts of children. They're mostly mischievous and not really dangerous, but they're mostly there for bringing fortune to families, or basically to visit people with good fortune. You know what I mean? So
yeah, they're so cute. Aww.
Yeah, if you see the art anyway. I mean, obviously, we wouldn't necessarily see demon slayers come back as Zashiki Warashi, but I would think that there's possibly some Zashiki Warashi around there. Like, maybe they're people who are, because Zashiki Warashi were considered as people who died in the family home as children, and that's why they want to give fortune to people who live in the home.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I mean,
so we could be looking at.
You said illness, right?
It could be illness, but here's the thing. It could be, technically, the condition is to die in the family household as a child. But then again, if you died violently, you could come back as a Zashiki Warashi, but I would assume that you would probably come back either more likely as a Jibakure, the Earthbound Spirits, or the Vengeful Ghost Onryo, because of the manner of death. But if you died because of illness, you might want to come back as a Zashiki Warashi. Like, I would think that, let's say Rui didn't die, like become a demon, and he just died naturally and he has parents in the family home. In the ghost world, he would have come back as a Zashiki Warashi. You know what I mean?
Aww.
And more likely, because he's got that vengeance. You know what I mean?
So we're saying the Shinizugawa family, the children there could potentially come back as Zashiki.
Zashiki Warashi. Yes, I'll put it.
Yeah,
I'll put it in the chat for you then.
No, I can visualize it in my head.
So you're saying Kanao's siblings could come back as a Zashiki Warashi if some of them died of illness, which I assume could have definitely happened.
But
also,
let's not forget.
Hold
on. Yeah. Let's not forget that the manner of their deaths were not necessarily because they died of something that wasn't beyond their control. Because an illness is not necessarily someone's fault, so much as, like, in Rui's case, he had a weak body, but that wasn't anyone's fault in particular. So, is there a particular vengeance or wrong done to him from anyone that he can come back with hatred towards? Not so much if he were to do that. But people like who were killed violently, like the Shinazugawa siblings, and people who were like Tanjiro's family, Kanao's siblings, would probably, if they were old enough, they probably could come back as Onryo because they have a wrong done to them.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So yeah, so I thought of something else. So could the Himejima brothers come back as Zashikiwarashi? Because from what we knew, they at least like some of them died of illness.
They could.
Assumingly very young. Although like there's a lot of open endings about their deaths. Assumedly it wasn't anyone's fault except for the conditions that they lived in. Unless they're like eat the fucking rich and like become communist ghosts. I don't they become unionized or something.
I'll tell you
I
this:
don't-
if that were the
Return to
case, then I swear to if this in the ghost world, if that's the case, then the Japanese communists of the Taisho era have a huge reserve army of ghosts waiting for them. If that's the
Oh my
case,
Just Muzan thinks he's won, and then you just hear the Russian national anthem, and he turns around, and it's just an army.
Use Narushimi.
oh boy,
Republic Svobodny. And then Gyomi's like, Nissan, where did you learn that song from?
Mother Russia.
possibly.
Mother Russia.
But yeah, I think it could be. But again, Zashiki Orashi tend to stay around the family home. So if Gyome would have the temple where Gyome raised the kids would have to be his family home, so to speak, because they know he did learn from monks, and his family was raised in the temple.
Yeah.
So that is possible at the end of the
Yeah.
day. But if he moved temples, then they probably wouldn't be there. But that's assuming that ghosts can't really travel far beyond where they are supposed to manifest if they're bound to a place or a person, so to speak. So if we change the rules on that, like we see in some Western places with and whatnot, and rather we could also change. There are also some which can go into different places as well. Like there are a special type of ghost called Funa Yurei. They're the ghosts of those who died at sea. So I'm assuming that they can travel more because technically they can go around the coast and do what they want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And honestly, I will tell you this now: Funa Yurei. If you look that up, you will see that they're called mermaid or merman, and I headcanon that is the inspiration for Gyoko because of his final form.
Oh fuck, actually, that's actually really cool because he did die like near the sea, right? Well, he
Yeah.
didn't die. He almost died near the sea where
They're depicted
he's
as
essentially reborn
here's like
as this like ghost.
yeah. Here's the smoking gun. Here according to what I have on Funayure, these particular type of ghosts are depicted as, and I quote, scaly fish-like humanoids that have a form similar to mermaids and mermen. And does that not describe Gyoko's final form?
Yes.
I'll take the silence as yes, but yeah, you know what I mean. But you see, like, for those of you listening, there's tons of like things that you can make analogies to ghosts and demons within the KNY. But if we make ghosts a separate thing, that's going to be kick-ass. You know what I mean? What about you, DCC? Any thoughts on that? DCC? Hello? Hello?
Maybe his Wi-Fi is a bit slow.
Okay. Well, then it's just us for now. Sparta's currently doing something. We'll wait for DCC to come back. But let's continue. Like, you were going on the Gyome idea. Like, yes, they could come back. What do you think they would do if they came back and they had a tangible effect on the world?
I think if they came back, assuming they can travel, I don't know if they would go with their like brother. Maybe because we don't know enough about these siblings. But assumedly, like, perhaps, I mean, perhaps they'd follow him around. Maybe like they help him resolve his like issues. Although, yeah, or like mess around with him, I guess.
I mean, possibly. I mean, but at the same time, they would have granted Gyome wealth. I would feel if they came back early enough for Zeshiki.
Yeah.
Who knows? DCC, are you back?
Yeah.
I'm here.
Okay, you missed.
Oh.
Yeah, you missed out. Or you're asking your opinion on something. What happened? Cat trouble?
Sort of. Yeah. One thing I was thinking about though, that going back to the Zashiki Warashi. I don't know why I can't say that word.
I put it in the chat. You can read it.
Yeah, I know. I was reading it, trying to say it. It's hard words, but no. You say it's mostly because of illness, because it doesn't give them anything to seek revenge against.
Well, a grudge or something. Like basically, there's there's nothing really towards a grudge. So like, there's nothing like there's no external person or like group to extol a grudge towards.
In both the case of Gyome and Tsunemi and Genya, they kill their demons as their family is dying. So in a way, there's nothing for their family to have a grudge against. Yes, they were murdered, but all that they have left is not revenge. Revenge was already given to them. All they have left is their family. Because of that, could you argue in both cases that it's possible for them to become Zashiki Wawashi? And even though you also said that they tend not to move, they tend to stay with the home.
Mm-hmm.
You argued we could potentially, erase that point and say maybe they stay with the person, especially in the case of, Gyome, where home really is where the heart is. They're orphans.
So wholesome. I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, like they were orphans. They never had a home. The temple wasn't a home. Gyome was the home. He was the one who took care of them. So I definitely feel like maybe with the Shinuzagawas, but definitely with Gyome, you could justify fortune spirits sticking with them. Not necessarily fortune in the form of wealth, but maybe in the form of happiness and protection.
Like guardian spirits, like so to speak.
Well, exactly. Like he didn't get executed because the guy got there in time.
That could be it as well. I mean, it
can be as simple as the flip of a coin.
Possibly, but at the same time, it also It also means but there is no reason that the ghosts come back couldn't be changed. Like for example, like we saw in the extras, like Mitsuri is bubbly and whatnot, but she gets mad whenever she sees a demon, like what the demons have done while she's slaying, right? So so think of it this way. If we have to say that ghosts are spirits, it also depends on what's motivating them. So do they come back as more or less with their mental faculties intact, or only a certain part? And can they be influenced, or rather, can they be learned from seeing or serving as guardian spirits? And could that change them into something else? Like you could say Gyome's kids are following him around, but if Gyome is not aware of them initially, and then they see all the stuff that demons are doing, they could become, let's put it this way, a lot more angry at the demons, so to speak, and then they could transition, and then they could transition into Onryo, except it's directed towards the demons that Gyome is fighting. It is possible if we go that way. If we're trying to think of it that way, yes. And likewise, it's also here's another thing. If we want to say that demons are still alive in the canon, like they're not dead, like they have to be alive in order to be turned. We can't turn dead bodies in K and Y. Muzan does not have that power, thankfully. But this does not say that this is preventing any demon soul from coming back if they're essentially
or
something
wrong. Dark soul.
Yes, essentially. So think of it this way: if we all know that Gyoko is a nasty piece of work, and he was warped already.
His face.
Yeah, he was already warped before. Like meeting Muzan and turning into a demon. So I could see him gets killed by Muichiro, but becomes an Onryo ghost that's coming back to kill Muichiro because he got killed as a demon. Now, what would that
Fuck.
do? Think of it.
You would
Oh
just
my
get bodied
God.
twice because he sucks.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. Yeah, I don't know, but that's the thing, though. Like, we would have to add, like, in the ghost world, what do we do if we want to prevent ghost activity? Because here's the thing: in the ghost world, I would assume that there would have to be some rituals or tools or materials that would be useful against ghosts. Like we see in Shinto and Buddhism, that there are rituals and some substances which are used in ghosting as well. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
they would
I
have to
would
be.
say
Salt and
that.
burn the body.
Hmm?
Salt and burn the body.
Well, that's not necessarily the case. Like a lot of ghosts in Japanese mythology come back without a body. They've already been burned. You know what I mean? They're already, most of them, if they aren't demons anyway.
But were they salted? No, I'm sorry.
No, either when you salt a body and you burn it, it's supposed to force them out. But at the same time, if you burn a body into ashes and they come back, you can't really salt and burn the ashes because the ashes are already burnt. It doesn't work like that.
Maybe you could use talismans to protect yourself or like to protect other people.
Well, I mean, in the Third Light novel, we did see Kanai do the whole talisman thing and Kyojo with the salt.
Yeah.
So that could
You know
also be
what?
a thing.
Kanai would be such an like if she still has her exorcism skill, she'd be like such a powerhouse. Like, she would be like decking ghosts left and right and be like the full-on Ghostbusters, but in one person.
But yeah, you can see like but either way, you can see like what do we think? Let's put it this way: if the in a ghost world, what do you think that the demon slayers would have to do because they have to contend with ghosts? Like, here's the thing: you have humans besides the demon slayers who are opposed to the demons, and then you have the general populace of humans who are kind of like their own thing but neutral out of the picture. Then you have the demons, and then you have the ghosts. But the thing is, because of the way ghosts come back, they can either be helpful or hurtful to either side, or maybe even to each other if they're long enough. You know what I mean? It's like let's say the demon that killed Gyome's like kids came back as a ghost because he was pissed at Gyome, and Gyome's kids were there as guardian spirits. They might want to turn on him now because they killed him. They remembering that he killed them.
They're like, it's time for a showdown, bitch.
Essentially, yes.
All for you guys.
What? Huh?
I have a thought for you guys.
Okay, I thought you said "fuck you guys." I'm like, what did we do?
No. I said that before we recorded. No, I'm kidding. Each breath has a different approach to combat and how to deal with demons. What if each breath has a different approach to how to deal with spirits?
That could work.
So
like, here's something.
You could say.
Here's something that we can do. In real life, or rather in real Japanese culture, or rather in real life Japanese culture, sorry, and in Western culture too, spirits don't appear at least unless they're very, very, very rare. Spirits don't necessarily appear when it's light out either, and they usually don't appear at nighttime. And they're exponentially stronger at nighttime, even if they can appear in the daytime occasionally. So, in theory, I would think
Which
that.
goes back to my whole thing about goodness of the
no, hold on. I'm just gonna say that. So, do we think that Nichiren, which stores sunlight, Sparta's gone. Do we think Nichiren that stores sunlight is effective on ghosts too?
Yeah. So maybe.
Maybe it might help dispel them.
I think it would serve as a ward, like if you
can
them
or make them pass on.
I don't know if it would. Let's put it this way: you can't exactly cut a ghost's head off. Like you have to, let's put it this way: you have to either exorcise them using a ritual or charm in real life, which I think we could include here, or you would have to force the body to move on. But because most demon ghosts don't have a body because it's already went to ash, and then most ghosts in general have already been cremated as opposed to being buried, it would be very difficult to do any of that forcing on, so you'd have to use talismans and whatnot. So I would think that it's similar to iron in spirits, and that iron can repel spirits, like they do in Supernatural, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like it dispels the form, but it doesn't actually get rid of the ghost for a while. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's the difference between putting out a fire and waving away the smoke.
Yeah. So do we want to? So in this particular AU of the Ghost World, do we want to say that the effectiveness, like the weapons we use, are Nichiren, but it's only used to dispel ghosts and to keep them at bay, not to solve the problem? Basically, put patchwork on it, right?
That's what the main weapon does. But what if they all have different kinds of secondary weapons?
What material would it be out of, though?
Well,
what if
there's such a thing as a ritualistic wooden sword of some kind.
Oh yeah, I've heard of those. Like they're the Buddha. I think they're the ones with the Buddhist temples.
Chinese ones?
They have like the
back.
talismans or paper on them.
I thought those were
Welcome back.
Taoist swords.
All right.
You back, Sparta?
But if we're
Yeah.
All right, welcome back.
But if we're all on the same page about this idea, then you guys kind of understand where I'm going with it. And I feel like Breath of Earth could do something like that, because it's like you're essentially drawing in the spirit and maybe bringing to the. Whereas wind might use talismans, where it kind of.
Oh, you mean Breath of Stone?
Yeah, I call mine Breath of Earth, and I always forget it's Breath of Stone.
Nice.
But still fixing on Avatar: The Last Airbender or something.
Well, it's a hard show to not think about. I mean, we're getting a whole multi-universe of stories in the near future. So, yay!
That is true.
So I had an interesting thought. You know how Tsunemi uses his blood to learn demons?
Mm-hmm.
Tsunemi opens
what if
possession and then essentially overpowers and exorcises the ghosts from inside himself.
I have a counter thought. Like, remember how Kokushibo says that there are people who are resistant to demonization, right? Like people who take blood when he's when he's lording over Genya, right? Like those would be the opposite of Marechi, so to speak. Like I would assume their blood repels demons or is like distasteful to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if Marechi is considered valuable blood and that blood gives life to demons, what if it's the opposite? So let's say that Marechis are very attractive to demons, but their blood is toxic or rather really repellent and smells disgusting to ghosts because it represents life. Whereas those that repel demons or are immune to demonization because it's disgusting to them are very attractive to ghosts for possession. Because they represent the opposite.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Genya.
Basically, Genya is not he can stop demons, but ghosts really love him if they want to use his body or like attack him or whatnot. They really like Genya, and they really hate Tsunemi. Conversely.
Can I just share a silly thought I had?
Yeah.
Going back to the idea of all the Shibuzugawas being Zashi. What if they all hang around Genya, and every time one of them wants to yell at Tsunemi, they just pretend like a temporary possess Genya?
That would be good. I like that.
Oh my god. Okay, what if this is another idea similar, but what if Gyomi's kids they see Genya and they're like, "Hey, Sensei's disciple, can I use you for a moment?" And Genya's like, "Huh? Who are you?" Please no. And then the kids are like, "Sorry, gotta beat up this demon, then just possesses him.
Conversely, it would also
conversely,
it could also mean that demon ghosts would possess Genya, and then they want to kill the demon slayers. Like imagine Gyoko possesses Genya and then wants to go kill Muichiro.
Muichiro's like, "Hey, Genya, do you want to?"
If demons can be attracted to Marechi and demon-resistant people can attract ghosts, doesn't that suggest that demons and ghosts are themselves contradictory?
Well, let's put it this way. Ghosts represent death, so to speak. You know what I mean? Because they're dead, but coming back. And demons represent
a rejection of death.
Yeah, rejection of death. so to speak.
Imagine like Muichiro being like, Genya, you're late for a date. And Genya's like, oh yeah, Muichiro, I'm late for a lot of things, and tries to like kill him.
Possibly.
And
No, I feel like
no, he's
Yoko
like-
would be more like, I'm gonna kill that ugly face of yours. And Muichiro just starts crying. It's like, Genya, you never told me my face was ugly before.
Genya.
And then Genya just starts
Why
crying
did you
like,
call me-
no, I didn't mean it.
Nice.
Muichiro's like, did you just call me ugly, you mohawk bitch? Let me tell you, Genya, I'm doing service here, okay? And then he just roasts the shit out of him, and Gyoko's like, dang, I really can't with this kid.
Yeah, I mean,
Also,
possibly.
don't you love how Snek just immediately turned this AU into a Gen movie?
Yeah, basically. I mean,
I'm sorry.
that's fine. But if you it's an AU, it's a concept. I mean, if you want to go with that in the Ghost World AU and you want to make that, go ahead. But okay, but speaking of which, back to DCC's idea of them being secondary weapons. I would think that just as every demon uses Nichiren, every secondary weapon involves something that's common to everyone. Like, let's say they could have salt on them at all times, or they can have like the wooden stick with the Buddhist mantras imprinted on it. You know what I mean?
Pocket salt.
Yeah.
So those would be the primary stuff to use against ghosts. So what I think could work is, you know how like ghosts hate salt. Like if you can trap a ghost in a ring of salt, that would be useful. You know what I mean? Like they can be used to trap, so to speak. You get what I mean? And then you could use talismans or rituals to exorcise them from the plane. You know what I mean?
Muichiro doesn't understand what they mean when they say attack demons with salt. So he just abuses demons and he spits salt in his words.
No,
He
Muichiro is so
he just
salty
roasted
when he
the-
spits at ghosts. His words alone cause them to be exorcised. In particular to
He's
Gyoko.
like-
In particular to Gyoko. Like Yoko's like, I'm gonna kill you, and then Muichiro just starts spitting salt in towards Genya's body because he's possessing it, and then Gyoko's like, no, stop it, and then he just gets exorcised out.
Muichiro's like, oh yeah? Well, I'm gonna rip that mohawk that looks like a rooster crest from your head and actually replace it with an acceptable hairstyle, because what is up with those yellow tips anyways? You look like someone attacked you with a highlighter, and yeah, so your kimono overshirt too, was that also stolen from Himejima's style? Oh my god, Genya. I told you, you need to have a personal stylist one day because you don't have any personal. That's so. Okay, sorry, my roast is bad.
Okay,
Hello
well,
again.
I mean, okay,
Nice
well,
to see you again.
You do.
I
I
love-
thought I'd give it to you because if it was
Yeah.
my parents, I'll
Holy shit, she's real.
Yeah, thankfully, it's dead.
Yeah, I just want to make sure you have it. So
I love you.
let me see the.
Have a good night.
You see, let me know you got home.
I will.
right, to everyone watching, featuring a cameo from Sparta's girlfriend.
She's real.
That does not sound good.
Hey,
Oh,
we got it all, man. We got it all. But yeah, anyway, moving on from the whole
Did you guys hear
situational
that?
stuff. So I want to know is that in the ghost world, we have certain places that are constantly associated with death. And I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Final selection, Mount Fujikasane.
Yeah.
I would assume that there might be, if in the event that they come back as ghosts, and we have like the Jibakure Earthbound stuff and the Onryo. Obviously, I would assume that if ghosts are going to be moving around, or rather they can move around when they come back, they would have to come back at a certain place. You know what I mean? Like let's say they wanted to extract vengeance. Like so, what if demon souls can come back as ghosts at the Mount Fujikasane grounds? So they have to double the protection.
dang.
They have to double the protection. Like so, every wisteria is like surrounded by Japanese talismans, or like the rope, the Japanese Shinto rope, so to speak, the one with like the thunder coming off of it. Like the thunder paper coming off of it.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah,
would
no, right.
imply that final selection is doubly dangerous because you have demons and then you have ghosts who may or may not recognize you and want to kill you because you're because they're like, these are fresh demon slayers. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Fresh meat.
Basically, there could be
Fresh meat coming through.
So what do we think? Do we think that before, like, demon slayers have to learn to be ghost slayers as well, because their ghosts are going to be part of the job as well? You know what I mean?
Or you
Yeah,
can
they
just use
gotta-
Zenitsu and immediately see a ghost, freak out, faint, and just disappear running around the fucking place.
Possibly. You know what? I think what could also work if you have a Nichiren blade coated with salt, so to speak. You know what I mean?
So like, oh, okay, that makes for some interesting.
Or rather, wait. I have another idea. If we assume like the whole engravings on the wooden like Buddhist staff that's used attacking ghosts, why not carve them on the blades themselves to serve as like double the damage?
So
Oh,
instead
yeah.
of just like kill all demons on the blades, you have like
Buddhist
Expel all
pra-
ghosts.
you have Buddhist prayers or whatever they put on them, right? On like the hie or like the back end, like the flat end, you
Yeah.
have them written there, and only like, and it doesn't go to the hilt because the hilt is reserved for Hashira blades, so to speak. But you can
Yeah.
use that to forcefully dispel demons. Like, here's what I would think. I would think that salt dispels demons temporarily, whereas the wooden stick can damage them so they can't appear for the night, although they can come back. And whereas the talismans are the ones where you can forcibly cause the ghost to move on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that way, if a bunch
Also-
of ghosts, like let's put it this way, a bunch of ghosts are coming at a demon slayer, one demon slayer with like the engraved Nichiren blade slashes the ghost, that ghost doesn't appear for the rest of the night because it's been basically decharged of all its power.
Yeah.
I had a dumb thought of what if they quenched their blades in soy sauce so that the blades are always salty.
I mean, in that case, they may just get rusty real quick.
I mean, salt is a stone, right?
Yeah, but I mean, if it's like coated with if it's coated with
I would say more
non-aqueous
of a
salt.
mineral.
I mean, if it's coated with non-aqueous salt, or rather rock salt, then it's not gonna degrade anytime soon. But if you put it like
Yeah,
in
but,
soy
like,
sauce,
if you
over
put
time
it
it's gonna like
in
go.
yeah.
Well,
If you put
not
it in
like
a solution,
sheath.
it'll like oxidize.
not sheathed in soy sauce, but quenched in soy sauce when it's crafted.
I mean, I don't know how well.
I think that'll still oxidize it though.
Well, the thing is that I don't know how well that would work with the blade, because in order for the blade to be effective as a sword, like in general for any katana in real life, the spine of the sword, so to speak, needs to be crafted in a certain way. And putting salt in there as an impurity would basically make the metal weaker.
That's fair.
So I don't think that would be a good idea. Rather, it'd probably just be
Yeah.
better to have do what they do with the exorcism on the wooden blades and just carve it on the blade itself, because that won't damage it. We've seen they already have like the whole destroy all demons stuff on there, so more carvings on the blade aren't going to hurt it.
Also, just a thought I had. It doesn't really matter if you make those swords break more easily, since if you watch the series, they tend to lose their swords pretty often anyway.
I guess, but I mean, you don't.
My
But here's the
God.
thing, though: you wouldn't want the blade to have the chance of breaking that easily. I mean, every time you put soy sauce on it, yes, like you want it to last as long as possible, right? You don't want it to be like
Yeah, that soy
Yeah.
sauce is delicious. It better last as long as possible.
No, secretly, though, actually, you know what? If they quenched it in soy sauce, one day a demon slayer goes to get sushi, and then they just get a full roast, like, I'll cut it myself, and then they cut it, and then the soy sauce on the blade makes the perfect, like, topping of soy sauce for every cut it makes on each side of the sushi.
It sounds like shit that his senshi would do.
I think
Yeah.
that would be
Yes.
I mean, hey, in a Ghost World AU of the complete reversal AU, then you could have Hisenshu do that. He's like, I have people make sushi for me, but they don't cut it. I cut it so that way I have the amount of soy sauce I like on it, instead of I don't have to dip
He
it.
just gets like a giant thing of like the seaweed, slathers it in rice and fish, rolls it up, draws his sword, and just immediately just like quick slash.
Pops one
Saturday
in,
would be
perfect as
like-
always. The soy sauce, perfect as always.
when she's out in the wild, like catching like fowl for dinner, she'd probably stick the blade through the fowl and then just roast it on a spitfire so she can flavor her meat.
Hmm.
I gotta ask, how strong is rock salt? Like, is he like could you make a stone axe out of it?
I mean, you could if you had a big enough rock salt, you could. But the problem is that they're not really that big. Oh shit! Hold on. Hello? Can you guys hear me? Hello? Can you guys hear me? Hello? Oh crap! Hello? Hello? Sorry, guys. Hello? Hello?
Like,
Hello?
copied the
hello?
idea of creating a stone axe.
Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Mix stone with salt. Hello?
DTC, I'm gonna need your thing because Discord acted up, so I didn't get what you guys were talking about when I typed that thing.
No, it's fine. You got it.
Wait, Snack, can you hear me or no?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like panicking when I saw like the red voice connected went to red. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you, Snack.
Yeah, my voice connected goes too.
I'm DTC. I'm gonna need your recording because I missed a little bit.
Don't worry about it. But yes, Sparta. See, the thing with most stone rock minerals, they're not crystalline in structure, so they have strong cleavage points. Therefore, you can sharpen it to have an edge. The risk of it becoming extremely brittle. But whenever you use anything crystalline like salt or diamond, it has very strong cleavage points, and if you hit it with a strong impact, it'll break along those immediately, and that's how you get.
So
also, if you cook rock salt as sorry, do you mind or do you want to speak first, Nick?
No, you can speak first and then I'll talk.
It's a small point, but I'll just say it this way. Put it this way: if you used a rock salt axe, basically whenever it rains, it's fucked because it's gonna get dissolved really quickly.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I'm gonna bring this point. The stone that people used in the Americas before the European arrival, that was either like flint or that was obsidian, which is a completely different like composition from rock salt. First of all, it doesn't dissolve in water. Second of all, obsidian like cleaves like very easily. So you can fashion it into a knife very easily into the shape you want. However, rock salt does not cleave as predictably, and it's a lot more brittle than obsidian. So therefore it wouldn't make as good of a blade.
I see.
But let's just go with the traditional. Let's go with let's just go with the traditional salt. Let's just go with the traditional salt that they use in Shinto stuff.
Now I'm just imagining Tsunemi running around with a salt pack.
He spits venom at demons. He should learn how to spit salt too, just like Muichiro.
We can teach him.
I'm just curious. Do you guys know what a blackjack is in regards to a weapon?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Not really, but
can you guys hear the wind outside?
Huh?
You guys hear the wind outside?
No, just your voice.
But the wind outside here is not. Snack. A blackjack is essentially a sock filled with anything heavy and dense. So
so like rocks.
Or rock salt.
I mean, either way, like hello? Okay, I can.
Huh?
I just wanted to make sure you guys could hear me because I was afraid of this.
Yeah, we can all hear you.
Okay, but in any event, like even if a blackjack would essentially be the type of weapon that you could form on the fly, even if you didn't want to throw the salt at someone. Like you could throw the salt at the at the ghost disappears for a second, gather that salt again, put it in like a blackjack, and then start swinging it around because it would still pass through the ghost's physical form, or rather, in like it would still pass through the form of the ghost anyway.
You could also go full Kill Bill and just load salt rock rounds into your shotgun.
That's Genya. Genya, like, actually, if Tsunemi is good at hunting demons, why not Genya be like the opposite and he's good at hunting ghosts because they come to him?
Oh yeah, Ghostbuster Genya.
Basically.
Ghostbusters.
He
Nice.
has, in addition to a gun, he has a vacuum.
Yeah, he can control high plasma matter by making the proton streams from his guns.
Really dumb question. Which Ghostbuster would Genya be?
Either Ray or I think he would be Ray, more or less.
I feel like he would definitely be more like. Well, actually, maybe he's not like outgoing enough to be Venkman.
Yeah,
I feel like he's goofy enough, but yeah, Ray.
Probably Ray. But anyway, back on like to the whole Ghost Row topic. So we have like the tradition, what the demon slayers would use to fight. So, but let's think of something. What do you think the demons would do in regards to ghosts? Because ghosts can come back and haunt them. You know what I mean? Like, imagine all of Doma's victims coming back to haunt him and try to kill him because he's eaten so much of them. And they're like, "We gave you trust because you were in our cult, and you ate us." You know what I mean?
Oh God, yeah.
What if the only thing they remember in death is their blind worship of him?
I mean, no, but they would remember he killed them though. He would because they ate him too. Remember?
But what if they gave themselves as sacrifices to him? They wouldn't see that as him killing him. But then becoming one.
So basically, that means that they might come back as a Shikibarashi on Doma's side, and then that means basically Doma is stuck between the middle of a war between his blind worshippers who came back in a small number, and then the ghosts of Onryo who want to kill him.
Oh fuck! Yes.
Really dope thought. Remember how he can make ice clones?
Yeah.
What if half his ghost possesses ice clones?
Oh my god!
I mean, yeah, that could be something as well. But here's the thing, though.
Like, how is there always a Duma everywhere?
That's true. But think of it this way again. What do you think that means for Muzan over 1,000 years of him doing the same stupid shit of killing and then making things worse?
I feel like he has such a low profile, though, that it's not as bad as you would think. I mean, Muzan personally, before the final arc, we see him kill what, maybe 10 people.
But here's the thing, though. Like, I just want to use some math here. Like, we know that Hantengu is older than 100 years old, right? Makes it
at least.
No, but he's more than 100 years old. Think of it this way: Tanjiro says by smell that he's killed maybe 200, 300, maybe more. So, assuming that is true, but I think that Tanjiro did misinterpret like how many he killed. But here's the thing: if we took the 200 to 300 and Hantengu being more than 100 years old, that would imply he only killed around 3 per year. Think of it that way. Like, I don't think demons have to kill every single day to be like. I think they get a lot from one dead person, and then Doma's just a glutton. Let's just put it that way. And Doma's just a glutton at the end of the day.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but I don't think they have to go out and be killing every single day to sustain themselves. They probably get a lot out of it. So
every day a murder.
But still, 1,000 years. At 1,000 years of Muzan still killing every so once in a while, that probably still stacks up at the end of the day.
Fair.
That is very fair.
So then that makes.
Oh, imagine.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I just realized something. If we take this AU as a meaningful, it literally means that the third faction, which are ghosts, are technically split between defending and killing demons, defending and killing humans, and then and then the ones that just exist. Dude, that's just chaotic. That's just chaotic at the end of the day. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. Imagine at the end of in the final battle, there are a group of demons, I mean not demons, ghosts, trying to pin Muzan down, and another group trying to like set him free, and they're like fighting, and they're like, you
Let's be
stupid bitch.
honest. Who the hell trying to set Muzan free?
Oh, that would probably be if Gyoko and Hantengu came back. They probably would if it's ghosts.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe
Honestly,
there's some Muzan simps amongst the ghosts. I don't know.
No, Hantengu would be
Yeah,
a
there's
Muzan
no
simp.
Muzan
Hantengu would be a Muzan simp.
Enmu.
Yeah, that too. Him too.
Enmu maybe.
Enmu,
I don't even think Hantengu and Gyoko would though, because I mean, if none of the upper moons showed nearly as much devotion to Muzan as Enmu did. If anything, they showed more fear than anything.
No, but we do know that Hantengu said that Muzan was convinced as a human that Muzan was the only one who believed him. So technically, he is more of a Muzan simp in the long run. You know, I mean, he's a coward, but that was
That's
just
fair.
so. At least Hantengu would, and
but
Enmu probably would.
Susumaru.
I mean, Tsusumaru
It's
got
Susumaru.
killed by him, so I don't know how well that would work. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Also,
that's true.
Would demons have any way of fighting the ghosts? What would they be?
I think that could be something we talk about in another episode, just because I think there's more we can talk about. It's been more than an hour, man, but hey.
Yep, it's been an hour.
You know what I mean? We can talk
Oh
about that.
yeah, we just hit now, Mark.
Yeah, we can talk about that in another episode. What's the you guys?
Yep.
All right. There's more questions. Like, what would let's put it this way: there's more questions to be answered. Like in the ghost world, what would the supporting spirits do for them? Like as part of it, like as guardian spirits. Like what would Kanai be? Because she would probably come back to help Shinobu, so to speak, and be in the Butterfly Mansion. And then how would the demons fight ghosts? And then how would they deal with the ideas of ghosts? We can all answer that, but in another episode. How's that? Sound good?
I just imagine the ghost of Kanai pushing Shinobu to date Giyu a lot. Like,
yes.
Hey.
Yes.
the way you smile.
Kiss
Yes,
the girl. Kiss the girl.
Oh my
Wait a
God.
minute. That just means Sanemi's in love interest is a ghost. He can't actually touch her. Oh no.
Oh my God. Okay. Last few notes. Sabito and Kanai doing a duet to try and like set Giyu and Shinobu up on a date.
Oh,
and scene from Patrick Swayze Ghost of Kanai and Tsunemi killing demons together. But it's like she's holding his hands.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, a romantic montage, but like she's a ghost and they're killing demons. Like,
why isn't Czar here?
Dude. Why? Czar missed out. Honestly, I feel like Czar in California missed out. But hey,
Yeah,
let's
they
come back.
did.
Let's make it for the second episode because this is clearly going to be a two-parter, maybe three if we get lucky. Who knows? But at least
Exactly.
a two-parter. But I do
Yep.
want to say one last thing as part of like for ghosts and whatnot. I will say like, what do we think? Like this is the last series. This is a serious point. I just want to say, what do we think that as time goes on, that unless you're back for a demon, for like to kill a demon, like you eventually lose that connection to the mortal world, and then ghosts disappear over time. You know, or rather they can become more amnesic or become warped as the longer they stay in the real world. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like that would prevent a lot of buildup of ghosts because then everyone would literally have guardian spirits upon guardian spirits everywhere if they haven't moved on. You know what I mean? We got to set the rules, but hey, we can elaborate on that in the next episode. All right?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways that you can deal with an issue like that.
Yeah, but anyway, so wrapping it up, does everyone else have any last words or comments? DCC?
Yes, I have one thing to say. Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers. Fine.
Nice. Snacked?
Ghosts are like stands at some point. So there will be some JoJo references, I bet.
Oh, definitely.
Oh my wumu.
Oh yes.
And Sparta, any?
That's a North Star reference.
This whole episode just reminds me of the one comic the one video the guy did where they parodied BuzzFeed Unsolved with Demon Slayer characters.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I know that one.
That's good. I like that. And as
Hey, they're demons. It's me, your boy.
Yeah, I like that. But anyways, thank you everyone for joining us this week on the Breath of Fiction for the first part of the Kimetsu no Yaiba Ghost World theme AU, whichever you want to do. And we hope to see you again for the next episode, and then in the future for the second part of this wonderful concept which we've come up with and discovered. So until then, sayonara. See ya. Have a good day, everyone.
See you later.
Bye.
Konnichiwa.
God bless you all. Sweet dreams.
Later.
Health, nothing.